A moment from a Trump rally went very viral. I do want to play that for you. It is pretty whack. And then we'll look at other moments from this same rally that potentially you have not yet seen. So let's start with this. At one point, chaos broke out because a heckler was heckling Donald Trump. And the thing Trump says as the crowd is rooting him on after this heckler is dragged out of the rally is concerning.
Back home to mommy. She goes back home to mommy. Was that you, darling? And then she gets the hell knocked out of her. Her mother's a big fan of ours. You know that, right? Her father, her mother.
And then she gets the hell knocked out of her, is what he says. He's kidding. No, he's kidding. That's the range. Especially because it's not a one-off. And Trump notoriously has said he'll pay for the legal bills of people who attack hecklers and rough them up and all that type of stuff. And then we move on to something as disturbing, which is him doing the very thing that MAGA has wrongly accused Biden-Harris of doing amid the devastating hurricanes.
We're not going to ever let that happen again. You would have so much water. I read where in Beverly Hills and Bel Air, they want to bring you down to like 28 gallons a person. You know, that sounds like a lot, but you know what that is? Like about a 7-minute shower. You know, you spend a fortune for a house and you can't take a shower. So we're going to take care of our farmers. We're going to take care of your water situation. And we'll force it down his throat. And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have. It's not hard to do.
We have been hearing from MAGA, wrongly, that Biden-Harris are politicizing the hurricanes. Marjorie Taylor Greene said the government's controlling the hurricane to attack red areas, or that they're going to withhold aid from red areas. And what do we say? That's projection, because that's actually something Trump did when he was president, or wanted to do and had to be convinced out of it. Then he says here publicly, oh, I'd do that. I'd say, yeah, when you get hit with a natural disaster like a wildfire, not going to help you. Not going to send money to force you, to strong arm you into changing your policy positions, many of which Trump often mischaracterizes. But he both doesn't respect states' rights, as MAGA says they care a lot about, because he's saying, as the president, I should decide what you do in your state as it pertains to electric vehicles. And he's admitting he would politicize natural disasters, threaten states, say, I'm going to prevent FEMA from helping you or something. Then Trump gets pretty glitchy and says, with no meaning to it, Aurora, when he's saying something completely different.
We're not going to be woke. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., which is a disgrace what they've let happen to it, with graffiti all over the beautiful Aurora. Marble. We have the most beautiful marble. They have graffiti all over the place. They have roads with potholes. We're going to fix up our capital. We're going to make it so beautiful.
Okay, that's confusing. And then this doozy of a moment. Oh, by the way, this is in Coachella, California. Trump continuing to play into the idea that maybe he could win California.
I will very quickly deflate. We are going to take inflation and we are going to deflate it. We are going to deflate inflation. We are going to defeat inflation. We're going to not.
I see what you were trying to get at. We are going to deflate. And instead of going, defeat, because normal people make mistakes. Instead, he goes, deflate, which is deflate. I'm thinking of the reason I said that. It wasn't a mistake, is because I was getting to, we're going to deflate inflation. We're going to inflate inflation downwards. We're going to decrease the increase of deflation. And remember, going back to the I'm going to politicize natural disasters point, Trump himself has been attacking Biden Harris over this, lying about what they're doing. And these two clips played on the same network, as Asen pointed out.
But North Carolina really got hit. I'll tell you what, those people should never vote for a Democrat because they held back aid. They were so bad. But when
And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you.
On Newsmax, they broadcasted Trump saying that and also pretending like that's terrible that Biden Harris are doing it when they're not doing it. And to my point about California being something Trump is lying to his followers about, saying maybe if things were fair, we could win this state. Trump said this.
And because of the fact that, they send millions and millions of ballots someplace, they send them all over the place. California, you don't have anything like a voting booth. They take ballots, they just send them all over the place. They come back and they say, oh, somebody won by 5 million votes. And it's so corrupt, so corrupt. But you're going to have Shifty Adam Schiff, one of the true, I know him well, because he conceived of the Russia hoax, right? The Russia hoax. He is a bad person. He's a sick person, not a stupid guy, but he.
So a lot of normal lies there. But I do want to play for you Kamala Harris, something that she said to reporters that I think is relevant given the glitches I showed you, in addition to all the other concerning Trump moments we've been seeing.
Hi guys. Madam Vice President. So you saw I released my medical records today. I appreciate you. So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for President of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency, that on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for President of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is. And you put that on top of even the most recent reports of General Milley, one of the people who worked the closest with Donald Trump, referring to him as being unstable. And it is clear to me that he and his team do not want the American people to really see what it is that he is doing and whether or not he actually is fit to do the job of being.
Absolutely fair. And the reporting that's being referred to is this from media. A fascist to the core, ex-top general warns Trump is the most dangerous person ever. A reminder, a highly respected, as Trump often says about people wrongly, but correctly you can say highly respected, widely respected too, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff while Trump was president. Mark Milley, General Mark Milley, revealed in Bob Woodward's new book, this quote: "He is the most dangerous person ever. I had suspicions when I talked to you about his mental decline and so forth, but now I realize he's a total fascist. He's now the most dangerous person in this country." MAGA talks about respecting members of our military, holding in high esteem what they have to say. I find that important as well. One of the reasons I take this reporting so seriously. Hopefully, MAGA will also. But mental decline and fascism, not a good combination. Then this.
President Xi and myself, somebody said, what kind of a man is he? He's a fierce person. He is. He's a very smart guy. I hate to say brilliant because every time I call him brilliant, the press says, he said the president, well, he is a brilliant guy. Got 1.4 billion people. He rules it with an iron fist. And the press gets upset when I say he's a smart man. I would think he's a smart man, but actually, he's somebody that we can. The worst people are the enemies from within. the sleazebags, like a guy that you're going to elect to the Senate, Shifty Adam Schiff. He's a sleazebag. No, this guy. No, he's a major lowlife.
So I referenced this in a different segment, but it's so un-American to say that you're more ideologically opposed to the other party than to an authoritarian leader like Xi Jinping. But Trump keeps repeating that. He's not that big of a problem. But the real problem is Adam Schiff. They always say America first. We should be Americans, even with our political disagreements, and not do what Trump so often does, which is align himself more with leaders that represent so much of what we don't represent, so much of what we stand against in what we represent. And a party that used to pride itself in patriotism has just given up on that. Let me know what you thought in the comments.